Lotus Exige Sport 380. It's light, it goes like hell, and it's rather loud too. However, this one specifically belongs to Simon from Laptime Performance, and whenever he gets his hands on a car, he can't leave his fingers off it, and he just makes them, in my opinion, better, especially for fast driving and track driving. I mean, that's what he does. Yeah, let's start this thing up. Tell you what, this is a driver's car, and this is what a driver's car is supposed to be. It's small, it's light, it has a lot of power, it has a lot of grip, and the sound is spot on. To the looks, I think it looks great. Especially for today's standards, it's a small car, but it just looks very aggressive, especially with the lip on the front, the canards, and then it gets wider to the rear. You've got the huge wing on the back, the diffuser, and it just looks great. This specifically is a Champions Edition, which I think is limited to 20 or 30 pieces, which gives it the black paint and the gold striping, which I like. Simon has put on gold HRE wheels, which are lighter. I think they're forged. KW competition suspension, which Laptime developed with KW, was the first one for the car, which is fantastic. And to my knowledge, it's a race suspension. It sits on Nankang Air 1 semi-slicks. The suspension setup obviously is by Laptime as well, with more camera on the front. Brakes are stock. Lotus comes with AP Racing brakes and has endless pads. Yeah, so those are the looks. I mean, the inside is very basic, very simple, which is what Lotuses are. But this one, being the Champions Edition, has the Alcantara, the gold stitching, which is all nice. But generally the car doesn't have anything that you don't need for fast driving. You have climate control and heating and a radio, and that's it. So there's no assisted steering, but once the car is rolling, it's extremely light. It's only under parking, it's heavy, but otherwise to drive this car around normally, it's very easy and very simple, especially now with the closed exhaust valve. Not a problem at all. The clutch is not too hard. The shifter is easy. I mean, you can do hear the suspension a bit, but it's a slight compliment. I think that's what Lotuses are about. Sure, they're loud and whatnot, but they're meant for that. They're meant for fast driving and track driving, but they're just as drivable on public roads, and that's what I like. I mean, I personally would drive this thing everywhere, and I'll drive it to the track, on the track, and back. Two different driving modes: Sport, which I think just changes the bite a bit, and Race, which turns the traction control half off, allowing a little bit of slip, but you can still keep going. So let's put it in race mode. The exhaust valve is open, as you can hear. The engine is a 3.5 liter V6 supercharged engine. As the name says, 380 horsepower, 0 to 100 time of about 3.6 seconds, which is rapid. The car only weighs 1.1 tons, and I'll tell you what, you notice the weight in every factor and way possible. And the braking, changing direction, turning in, accelerating. I mean, there really is no replacement for lack of weight. This shifter is just godly. The open mechanics, which I love, it is just so puristic. And doing rev matching, and then you have that sound that is also involving. And then once you step on it, you have no more questions. have to be able to drive, especially once the traction control off. There is just no assists. Obviously ABS, but there's no power steering, there's no assisted steering, which I think is for the reason to save weight. And it is the most direct connection to the road. There's nothing between the steering and the road which can alter what's going on. I mean, it just tells you directly what's happening and what the car is about to do. I have to say, I would have thought, because this morning when we were driving, about 4 degrees, semi-slicks, the road was wet. But I would have thought this car would have been so bitchy and snappy to drift, which is not the case at all. It is one of the most beautiful cars I've ever driven sideways. Super controllable, and it just wants to rotate beautifully over its center axis. And that is the mid-engine layout. The engine is right behind me, and it is the best driving feeling I've ever had. The turn-in is light, there's no weight in the front, steering is incredibly direct, and especially with this setup and the semi-slicks, I have not brought this car anywhere near its limits. You need a racetrack for that. Again, the lack of weight is just phenomenal. It makes any other car just seem big and odd and heavy like a truck. One of my favorite things to do, given the shifter and the noise, is heel and toe. But the great thing is the limit of the car is so high, it all comes down to the driver. Where is your limit? And it forces you to be a good driver, which is what I like, because there is plenty of people that buy Porsches and Ferraris and whatnot. Some can drive it very well, pretty sure that most can't, but nobody's going to buy this car unless they can drive or they want to drive properly. And this is what driver's cars should be. This is what it's about for me. The shifter, the direct feeling, the direct throttle response, and then that noise. I mean, the noise is just godly and out of this world. You have to be very fast at the wheel, especially if you do brake traction. You have to be extremely quick. But given the lack of weight in the front, the turn-in is so nice and easy. This car is so easy to drive. The faster you go, the more difficult it gets. Thank you, Lotus, for building this car, for making something like this, and to Laptime Performance for making it even better. This car is a gift to the car world, and to petrol heads, and to people who love driving purely. That's exactly what this car is about. And my God, is it fantastic. I did not expect this to be that good, really. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. Also, again, a big thank you to Simon and Laptime Performance for making this car available and for trusting me with it. Yeah, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Still grinning like an idiot, probably, and yeah, I'll see you next time.